Ah, man, Lucia. Sometimes I get thinking about those old Hollywood stars, right? Like they seem so perfect, Like they stepped right off a magazine cover. Always.
Ah, Mark, that is exactly what the studios wanted you to think, no? They worked so hard to create those personas, those illusions. It was like a whole industry just for image.
Really? I mean, I kind of figured, but how deep did that go? Was it just, good PR, or was it something more, something deeper? Like, let's take someone like Marilyn Monroe, right? She just oozed like natural charisma, didn't she?
Oh, absolutely, Marilyn. She's the quintessential example, honestly. Her spontaneous charm, her vulnerability. It was all, well, it was carefully, very carefully cultivated. Her hair color, even her breathy voice. It was all part of the strategy. Do you know what I mean?
Wait, her voice? You're telling me her breathy voice wasn't just her?
No, not entirely, no. She actually worked with a vocal coach, to refine it, to make it sound softer, more alluring. It was all about crafting that specific appeal for the camera. It's wild when you think about it, no? Like the real Norma Jean was very different.
Wow. So even something that felt so inherently her was a performance, essentially. That's kind of wild. It really makes you wonder then what was actually authentic about those folks. It's a lot.
Exactly, Mark. And it wasn't just the voice or the hair or the clothes. It was everything. The studios had these absolute ironclad contracts with their stars. They controlled their public appearances, even their relationships. Like, if you were a star, your love life was definitely not just your own business. It was very much studio business for PR.
So, they'd literally tell them who they could or couldn't date or, manage scandals before they even hit the papers? That sounds kind of controlling, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely. The fixers, they were legendary. They were the ones who would clean up any messes. Say a star got into a bit of trouble, like a late night incident or a romantic entanglement that wasn't, on brand. These fixers would swoop in. They would pay off witnesses, they would plant counter stories in the press. It was all about protecting the star's image, because the star's image was, of course, the studio's investment.
Huh. So it was like almost a black ops kind of thing, but for celebrities. Like they had these whole departments dedicated to just, making sure everything looked perfect, even if it was falling apart behind the scenes. Like, what was the craziest thing a studio ever did to control a star, do you think? I'm just curious.
Oh, there are so many stories, honestly. From arranging sham marriages, to paying for abortions, to cover up pregnancies. They would even orchestrate public dates between stars who were actually, not interested in each other at all, just to generate buzz or quash rumors about their true inclinations. It was incredibly invasive. Incredibly.
Sham marriages. Wow, that's really next level. And you mentioned fixers. Were those specific people? Were they known, or were they just sort of shadowy figures lurking in the background?
Well, some were known, yes, like Eddie Mannix at MGM or Howard Strickling. These were the powerful PR heads. But beneath them, there were teams of people. These were the unsung heroes, or villains, depending on your perspective. The ones who truly kept the wheels turning behind the scenes. And it wasn't just about managing scandals, Mark. It was about creating the entire world, the whole narrative around the stars.
So they were basically like the original spin doctors, even before that term really came into fashion, right? Like shaping public perception on a grand scale. Did any stars ever, try to push back against all that control? It just sounds so suffocating.
Oh, some absolutely did, yes. And that often led to them being labeled difficult or even blacklisted, sadly.
Do you remember Olivia de Havilland? She famously sued Warner Bros. In the 1940s over her contract. It was huge. She won. It was a landmark decision that significantly weakened the studio's power over actors. She fought for her creative freedom, and it paved the way for others. It was a really, really brave act, so important.
Olivia de Havilland. Wow. I mean, I know the name, obviously, but I had no idea about that. That's incredible. So there were glimmers of rebellion even then. That's pretty inspiring, actually.
Absolutely, Mark. And her fight wasn't just for actors. It was for creative freedom in general, really. But the studio's control wasn't just about the stars' personal lives. It was also about what kind of stories were told and how they were told. We had the Hays Code, in full swing during the Golden Age. It was basically a set of moral guidelines that films had to follow.
Oh, the Hays Code. Yeah, I've heard of that. Like no excessive kissing, no, showing the actual crime, stuff like that, right? But what was the real societal impact of that? Did it actually work in, shaping public morals, or did people just kind of laugh at it?
Well, it certainly tried to shape public morals, didn't it? It pushed for traditional values, for family structures, for very clear good and evil narratives. It influenced everything from how women were portrayed to how love stories ended. The idea was to present a very, very specific vision of American life. And for a long time, it was incredibly effective. People consumed these films, and they reflected or sometimes reinforced the dominant social norms.
So it wasn't just censorship then. It was almost like cultural programming, subtly influencing how an entire generation viewed the world, how they viewed, love and relationships and success. That's pretty powerful stuff.
Exactly. It was a very powerful tool. It was about creating a sense of stability, of moral uprightness during a time of great change, after the Depression and leading into the war. It was very, very deliberate.
So, given all that control, all that, moral policing, were there any films or filmmakers who really managed to subtly push back? Like, work within the system but still sneak in some more progressive ideas? Or was it just all, totally homogenized?
Oh, absolutely, Mark. The truly brilliant ones, they found ways, They used allegory or subtext or clever dialogue. Think about, for example, Casablanca. On the surface, it's a romantic drama, right? But underneath, it's full of themes of sacrifice, of anti-fascism, of choosing the greater good over personal desire. It's incredibly nuanced for a film made during that time, especially with the war backdrop.
Huh. Casablanca. Yeah, I mean, it's a classic, but I never really thought about it in terms of, pushing boundaries, I always just thought it was a great love story. So it was actually doing more than just making people swoon?
Exactly. Or even films like Preston Sturges's comedies. For example, Sullivan's Travels. It's a comedy, but it's actually a really sharp critique of Hollywood itself, of its own self-importance, its detachment from real life. He managed to be very subversive while still making people laugh. It's really, really clever, It shows that genius always finds a way.
Wow. So even with all the studios watching, all the censors hovering, there were still these moments of genuine artistic expression that, kind of slipped through the cracks. That's really cool to hear. It means it wasn't just a total machine.
No, not at all. It was always a push and pull, a negotiation. And that's what makes the Golden Age so fascinating, don't you think? It's not just the glamour. It's the constant, subtle battles, the hidden depths.